Good morning, everyone. I hope you're doing well today. Happy February. So, we wrapped up sociological research. You thought about the ethics involved. Hopefully, it made you kind of consider the importance of being a good researcher and not being a selfish one that thinks they know what they're talking about, even when they're experiencing things that they have no idea about. Um, I mean, we've had a lot of problems with ethics and social research throughout history, and so it's a really important thing for you as potential researchers to consider. Um, so certainly when we think about the topic of culture, we understand that many social researchers have gone into other cultures, anthropologists, sociologists, psychologists, and put their own biases and values onto the culture that they are examining, and then coming up with judgy, weird results, and also exploiting them. And so we have to be really mindful of that as we consider those sorts of things. So, culture, we're going to start here. So, what are we going to do this week? Oh, you're going to do so many fun things. You're going to read chapter 3. You're going to watch the basics video using the blue play icon. You're going to watch the Sudanese culture video, and you're going to add to the culture discussion and respond to the two classmates. And so this is kind of the learning objectives for the chapter. Please take a good look at it. And then you can click on this culture video. But when you go back to the actual module, you will have the Lost Boys of Sudan. And you may or may not have heard of this. It was a pretty, well-known film at the time, but it sort of speaks to this idea that that culture is something that we internalize, but it's not universal. So some of it might make you laugh, some of it might make you be embarrassed for people who live in the United States. I don't know how you're going to respond to it, but I'm sure that we all can relate to culture. We can relate to something called dominant culture, meaning that like within the United States, there's something that we might consider to be a dominant cultural norm. And maybe if we have been paying attention to like Karl Marx or any of the things that we've learned throughout the course of the semester thus far, is that those in power get to set the cultural norms, and that the United States in particular is based off of white Anglo-Saxon Protestant male value system. And so most of what we understand is in reference to that. And that doesn't mean that that's what our culture is made up of necessarily, because obviously we're a pluralistic society. There's lots of different types of people here. And there's also dogs here, if you can hear that in the background. But that the dominant cultural norms are what frame a lot of our institutions in society. And so cultural shift is something that we could consider. How does that take place? Has culture shifted? And if so, is it time for some norms to be replaced or modified? And those are kind of social change questions that we can be asking ourselves as we kind of take on this process of learning to think sociologically. So I quite enjoy culture. I think it's fascinating to think about the fact that we take it for granted. We don't even realize that it's kind of embedded into who we are, but we just kind of are a reflection of culture. And we learn culture through what we'll do next week, which is the socialization process, right? We learn how to be. We learn what's normal. People are fascinating. So, all right, have a good week. I look forward to seeing your posts, and take good care.